I'm always starting late. There's nothing wrong with starting early, right? Okay, then. Hi, it's Friday night, and guess what? This is the last day of the month. I think we started, let me look at my phone. I think we started on the first day of the month having a broadcast, and I think we started on the last day of the month. I know it's the last day of the month. So let's see, February 1st. No, February 1st was a Saturday. So the first actual broadcast for February was January 31st or whatever they called it. Yeah, it was January 31st. And now, this next month, February, we have the last day of the month for February. Okay, so I guess we're doing last day of the month. So let's look in March. The first is on a Saturday, and the last is on a Monday. So it's going to break our streak. Okay? Too bad. All right, so what I did before, right before this, and I need to turn that camera on. I don't have it on. Let's fix that real quick. Okay. All right, so on the R6 Mark II, I moved it over on, let's go over to that camera and see what happens, because it keeps going out of focus. All right, so I moved the focus area that's around my face to be basically in line with the high end of the piano, or maybe you could say the poinsettia. So that's where the box is. But if I don't save it, it's going to come back in. Let's go back there. I was talking about that. If I don't save it, it actually is over here, kind of like the center of the screen. It comes in naturally on the center of the screen. So half of my face is on the focus point for face detection. So what I did is I moved it over, and this time I saved it. You know how you can save it to a preset? So all the Christmas room presets are saved to 3. So C3 there, U3 over here, and I believe it's C3, C on Eleanor. On the guy up there, did I turn him on? I might have forgotten to turn that one on too. Come on, Peter, you can do better than that. Yep, it is on. All right, so that one is saved also. So they have a feature which you guys should really know about, and you probably do. And if you look at the top of your camera, actually, I can use the overhead camera real quick. If you look at the top of your camera right here, can I zoom that in for you a little bit so you can see it a little bit better? Yes, I surely can. Zippity-doo-dah. That's a doozy. Okay, so let's move that up like that. Okay, so you see the mode dial, which is this one right here. Okay, so where the white mark is right there, that is where this camera is set. So this is the S5 Mark II. All right, so it's set to the movie mode. Now, if I were to come in here and put this up there for you to watch a broadcast, I would move this over to the 3, where it says C3. So on all the cameras that I'm using in here, I actually have it set for whatever that camera is on the 3. Because they don't all start with a C. Some of them will start with a U, which is, I'm looking at you, okay, which is the, no, not you, the other guy, the Nikon. So by making a habit out of making them all the 3s, I don't have to guess, oh, I wonder, is this camera on C1, C2, or C3? So that becomes important. So I set them all to the 3. Now what I did was I moved the Canon over so that I'm kind of like in front of the plant that you see over here. Ah! Come on. My hand doesn't bend that far. All right. But when it comes to the Canon, you will notice that I am firmly planted smack dab in front of that plant. However, the box for focusing is not. The box for focusing is kind of like it is now. See how my head is in line with the tree behind me? The Canon is kind of like doing the same thing. However, when you move from pretty much the center all the way to the left side of the room, which is where the Canon R6 Mark III, Mark II, whatever it's called, is located, it lines things up kind of differently. Okay, so we'll see how the focus does tonight, because if it doesn't work well, my next step is to change the focus completely to a small box like that. Where are we? So now it's kind of like from the top, it comes down, and then it comes across. Okay, I can switch to another type of focusing. Now this one, it starts at the top, it comes down, and then comes across. Okay, that's the way it's designed. Now I moved it from over here to here. If that still doesn't work well, then we will move to making a small box and saving that one. So the key thing here is I didn't save the position. And that is something that it will save, but if you move the cameras like I do, you've got to readjust it. You got to put your thinker on. Winnie the Pooh, think, think, think. Okay. So let's come to the party. Oh, Randy said he doesn't want me to do any talking about politics tonight. Who wants to place a bet if I keep that or not? Okay, so much went on today. Okay, that it's like I'm still excited from this afternoon. So it's kind of like a little bit on the weird side that I have to keep quiet. I don't have to, but I think he's right. We don't normally go into politics, but dang, what a hot day we had today. All right, so let's say hi to the important people here. Woody is number one. Woody, you know, for the last few weeks, you've been number one. What are you doing over there? Are you taking a can of Red Bull? Are you drinking a can of Red Bull, Woody? You know what Red Bull is? It looks like a can of Coke or beer. It's a metal can. And it's basically very, very, very super hyped up on caffeine. And it's designed to give you a zing, zing, zoom, zoom. My little heart goes boom when I hear the orchestra playing. And no, I did not take a can of Red Bull. Okay? So I was wondering, Woody, what got you charged up, big boy? Huh? What are you doing over there? Is it loud enough for you, Woody? Woody's the one that's always, it's too soft. It's too soft. Okay, Woody, we'll just help you out. Okay, so far it's 2 for 2. We came around to the Canon R6 Mark II, and we're in focus. Now that little focus bear that right there, wrong hand, right there. Oh my God, my hand doesn't bend anymore. It's over there. See the focus bear? It's right by my elbow. Okay, now that's got 2 eyes, and it's looking at the camera. And then these cameras don't have a problem. So this is Eleanor, but there's a bear sitting on the bench back there, and that bear has 2 eyes also. All right, so let's get going. Woody said hiya. Evelyn said, where's the boss? Well, who are you referring to? Who's the boss? Me? Am I the boss? I should be, right? Are you talking about Trump? Not supposed to talk about politics. And I said Trump. I shouldn't say the word Trump because I'm not supposed to talk politics. So I will try very hard not to say the word Trump anymore. But I might just launch. Okay. Did you hear what Marco Rubio did? Did you hear? Well, let's see what Scotty's saying. Thank God it's Friday. Hi, Scott. How you doing, buddy? Thank God it's Friday. It's Friday. Where's the food, Scott? I'm hungry. And boy, you better have brought me some good stuff. Woody says, it's less than 10 months now until Christmas. Well, it's getting quick. It was like so disappointing on December 26th. It's like I have to climb the whole ladder all the way up again to get all the way to Christmas just to fall off the ladder and have to start on the first peg over and over and over and over. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. I don't think we have a Jack in here, so I can safely sing that song. Sing that song, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. All right, so it's 10 months until Christmas, and Bluebeard is here. Hi, Friday. Hi, Peter. Happy Friday. I have never really used the Lumix, but I hope you enjoy it. I'm a Sony guy. I'm a S.O. New York guy. I'm so New York. That's what Bluebeard is telling me. The hair is not dyed. Okay, so, yeah, well, don't get lined up in terms of one camera, kind of like a football team, and go rah, 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 because we're not like fans. We basically put money on the line. Put your dime on the table and eat a bowl up, except that's the wrong song. All right, so what we do is we encourage each other. And yes, we do have favorites. If I were to run out with a camera now, I'd grab this one. What did I grab? I grabbed the Sony A7C Mark II. Okay, I just happened to grab it all the time. It's got an 11mm lens. Oh, and Sony's coming out with a 16. But the 16 is full frame, and the 11 that I have on here is a crop sensor. But this camera is not a crop sensor. This camera is a full frame 33 megapixel camera. It sits in a very sweet spot. It gives you extra punch on the megapixels so you can zoom in more. And then even if you're not zooming in that much, it's giving you extra megapixels to work with. And it's a full-size sensor. And it has an EVF built in. But it only has one card slot. And what else is the negatives? It has the old microphone array, where the new ones have a new microphone array. And the new microphone array actually works a treat better. Okay. Now, what I wrote down as the topic for this show is about this camera, is the S5 Mark II. Now, when Panasonic was behind the 8-ball, like they have been for such a long time, all right, the S5 was a nice camera, but without the new focus system in it, nah, it wasn't for me. Could be for you, but it wasn't for me. But now the S5 Mark II not only has the new focus system in it, it's got the new updated focus system that does even better with stabilization. So the S5 Mark II is really moving up into the area where you call it best bang for the buck, because you do have to put money down on these cameras. So the S1R was the high resolution version, or their camera for the lineup, in their lineup for high resolution guys. Okay, so you've got Nikon with high resolution cameras, you've got Canon with high resolution cameras, you even got Fuji with high resolution cameras, you got Sony with high resolution cameras. As a matter of fact, Randy might be sending me a loaner for a high resolution camera, which would be this camera, but instead of it being 33 megapixels, I forgot what it is. It's in the upwards of 40s, 45, 50, maybe 60. Randy will put it down because he knows the numbers. Okay, so the S1R, I would guess the R stands for resolution. So the S1R was the higher resolution of their lineup. But that camera and this camera didn't look very much the same. As a matter of fact, one of the features of the S1R and the S1H was the camera was probably one of the heaviest cameras I have ever picked up. It was just too much. And they never updated it to put the high-powered, high-end, high operational focus system that's in the S5 Mark II. Now, I do not have an S1R original or the update, which is called the S1R Mark II. Okay, so I don't have a hands-on with that camera, but Panasonic did the old game, which they have all fallen into, and that is, let's get Mikey. Mikey eats everything. Let's get the YouTube influencers. They like everything. So they took them and gave them, not give them, they loaned them cameras. And I don't know if they flew them to any place or not this time, but they get everybody on board. It's better than paying for advertisement, because you basically get a person like me, Randy, Carlos, Tom Buck, all these people that get that camera in their hands. All of a sudden they're talking about that camera, and you get free advertising. And what they need to do is put the camera in the hands of these YouTube influencers. Now, depending on your personality, they all start out with no money was exchanged, and they did not coerce me into saying anything. But I have, well, I'm not going to talk for any other YouTube influencer. I'll just talk for myself. It's a lot safer. But if somebody flew me to Japan to try out their new camera, I think I would automatically tilt to be a little nicer towards that camera. So saying things like, what the hell is the old focus system doing in your damn new camera? The GH Mark 6, I mean the GH6. Okay, we thought for sure Panasonic was going to put a new focus system in that. That's their flagship Micro Four Thirds camera. That camera, it just speaks volumes. And they came out and they stuck with their guns with the old focus system. Then, a little bit later, they came out with the S5 Mark II. And lo and behold, this one went with the phase, P-H-A-S-E, phase, not face, but phase detection autofocus. Now, for you guys that are not enlightened, why that's important is because the focus system that was there before was what's called a contrast detect focus system. And just by the nature, there's nothing wrong with that focus system. Actually, it's more accurate than a phase detection focus system. However, the only way it can work is testing the left hand against the right hand. So the left hand would mean a control picture, and the right hand would mean a test picture. So it would have a control picture and a test picture, and it kept comparing. And every time it got closer and closer and closer until it hit the mark. But we got to see all that activity, and people like me did not like that, because all it was like boing, boing, like a little bit of a trampoline. Okay, now phase detection doesn't do that. Phase detection works on a completely different method where it checks the phase, and if it's in focus here, the focus just goes right there. No checking, no bouncing, it's there. It's right where it needs to be. And it works. People are happy with that. And this is what, the fourth or the fifth time we're coming around to the Canon? And so far, we're in focus every step of the way. Shirt is creeping up and annoying my neck. Okay, so now is when you should go out of focus just to prove me wrong, Mr. Canon R6 Mark II. Okay, but it seems by moving the focus center of the universe into the correct spot, it works. This camera, I don't have to do that. This camera, I just turn on automatic face detection. Now that is face, F-A-C-E. And it just finds it. One and done. Okay? And the next one after this will also do the same thing, which is the Sony. And the one up on the ceiling also has the phase detect focus system. The only one that didn't have it was Panasonic. So now what Panasonic is doing is they're moving their cameras over to include the Super Duty winner chicken dinner focus system from here into their older cameras. Okay, and now you know what kind of yelling you're going to get? You're going to get too little, too late is what is going to be the phrase of the day. Too little, too late. So now, if you own a Panasonic, it's good news. But if you don't, I was started to say if you don't own a Panasonic, is it going to get you to come over to their thinking, their system, their products? That is what's going to prove Panasonic to be successful or not. Because if you own Panasonic, you're going to naturally go there. You've been waiting for it. You've been waiting for them to put the good focus system in your old camera. Well, they did. Okay, so let's see if we can go over there. How do I work this thing? Who knows how to work this thing? Let's go to the desktop. Is that the desktop? Did I click it right? I should be here. All right, so that is the desktop. And what I want is I want to go to, what are we on here? I want to go to B&H. That's where I am. I'm on B&H. Okay. Now, are you seeing that? Let me go back and see if you're seeing that, because if you're not, I'm going to have to make an adjustment. Yes, you are. Oh, and you're even seeing me in the bubble. Okay. So there I am in the bubble while I'm talking to you. We don't need to see me. Do you really need to see me? I don't think so. You can hear me fine, right? The microphone is still on. All right, so I took me off. All right, so now I am looking at the B&H webpage, and I could tell you, well, this is the S1R Mark II that was just announced. Was it yesterday or the day before? Okay. I don't know if Shane has one or not, but he is the Panasonic cheerleader in Australia. So I know he's very much into this. So this camera looks very, very much like my S5 Mark II that I was just flashing at you, that I'm actually holding. But this is not that camera. So if you notice, it's got a red button here for on and off. Okay. Again, it just kind of shows you that they're not operating this camera. This red button right here needs to be over here. Okay, and whatever this button is, I think it releases the lenses, needs to go over here. Now, the reason is if you turn and face this camera towards yourself to do, let's call it vlogging, okay, your hand is going to be on this side of the camera. And your thumb or your pinky is going to come underneath. So right here, you will actually have a place to push that button. But wait a minute, I could be wrong. Let's take a look at the top. Okay. All right. So I am wrong. All right. So the top shows that if you are holding it here, okay, it's a little bit of a reach, and they should really change this red button with one of the big three. And this is one of the very few camera companies that gives you the big three things that are active in controlling your light input into the camera, all right, and your picture. So you get your ISO here, you get your white balance, and you get the plus minus over here, which is your compensation. So whatever you're looking at, if you need it to get a little brighter while you're behind the camera, you'd push this and you'd roll this dial and it would just automatically take you brighter. And that would be based on if you're on shutter mode, on aperture mode, M mode, even priority, it will still take this. So look at your camera now. If you haven't used this button, okay, find out where it is on your camera, all right? And wherever that button is on your camera, or that choice of what it does with the compensation, And that is how, without changing settings and everything, you can make it. See how they have plus? Let's make this, let's click this here. Okay. See how they have plus and minus? Okay. So by clicking on this, it's going to put you in where you can roll this dial here or roll this dial here, and it will either brighten or darken your picture without changing any of your settings and any of the rest of the camera. Okay? So the only caveat, or the only thing you have to remember, is it will remember where you left it. So if you go to a +2 because you're in a very dark area, you're going to have to remember to come back and put it at the 0. You're going to have to neutralize it out so that it is actually running off the metering system of the camera. Okay? So this is what the camera looks like from the front side. If I make this larger, okay. So you've got this button that I was complaining that it should be over here because your thumb is going to be over here. However, they do have a button up on top, and I just showed that to you. So I stand corrected. All right. Now here's one of the things that's a little bit weird. All right. See where it says Lumix here? I don't know if we've got a side view here. Do we have a side view? If you're wondering what's wrong with me, it's kind of hard for me to see. All right. So see this overhang here? Underneath here, now if we can find a picture from the bottom going up. Let's see if we got one of those. And I don't see that here. I'm looking for a bottom-up picture. Might be one of these. All right, there's a bottom-up picture. Okay? So if you turn the camera and you're looking at its butt, the bottom side, see these vents right here? That is part of the air, the fan system where the air comes in and out, and it looks like it's got them all angled to one side. So I got into a conversation with Randy, and we cannot figure out where the input is, but we don't get the clearest shots of all this stuff either. So if I come back over to me over here real quick, okay? So if I grab this camera and I go to the overhead, now this is the S5 Mark II, not the same camera, but it's basically the same framework, meaning they're following the leader. You know, monkey see, monkey do. So they have changed a few things, but not a lot. So now if I go to my overhead camera and I make the overhead camera so that it's zoomed in, and it is zoomed in. All right, so now if I take this lens off, okay, now I'm taking the lens off. I'm going to set it over here. I'm going to put it sideways so we don't have accidents and it rolls off the desk. All right, so now if I turn this pretty much upside down, okay, you can actually see those vents, trying to get them to light up. Okay, see them over here? That's a set of vents right underneath this Lumix box. So if this takes air out on the S5 Mark II, if I turn it this way and I kind of angle it as much as I can angle it, okay, what I'm trying to show you is behind this knob, okay, that is where the air, come on, this way, this way. This is where the air gets sucked in. Now, I'm not able to get you a really good shot of that, but there's a bunch of vents right underneath this red dot. I'm going to try to stand up, all right? Let's make sure I don't fall on my face. Let me see if I can get this really close to you. Okay. So that's about as close as I can get, except I did lose my focus. No, she won't focus that close. I'm kind of close to the camera. So I'm trying to show you that there's air vents right there. Can't prove it because you can't see it, but there is air vents. So it has an in and out, And actually this exercise kind of shows us that maybe they're there on the other camera, and it's never been photographed successfully because it was just very hard for me to photograph it for you. But right here, there's a beautiful set of air vents. Okay, so the air comes in here, goes wherever it goes, and then shoots out underneath there. Okay, let's turn this way. And it might very well be the same thing on the other camera. And if it wasn't for me having such a hard time right now to try to photograph that for you, I would say we haven't found the air vents. But the fact that I did have such a hard time to photograph it for you gives me a little bit of hope that it's the same way, that over here is the in suction of air and underneath is the out blowing of the air. So the new one might be the same. Okay, so that was a revelation I just had right this very second. All right, so let's go back to the picture. Okay, and this picture keeps popping up and I don't want it. All right, so let's close the pictures and just do a simple run through of the features. So it's a 44 megapixel camera, which means this camera now is a high resolution. So the camera that I have here is 24 megapixels. So it's 20 plus megapixels more than my camera. Okay. Now it's not meant to be the same version as my camera and just upgraded the CMOS sensor. No, they threw everything but the kitchen sink in this one. Okay, so the price on this is $32.97. It's coming out, I did read it somewhere, I thought it was on March 17, 2025. So I put the link in my description, and you get to pre-order the camera, because if you use my link, it allows you to put your name on that list, which is going to give you pretty good positioning. Okay. So I encourage you to use my link. And the Adorama link, for some reason, I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're giving 5% commission. So $3,000 times 5. If you order through me as a pre-order, it gives me $150. That's a hell of a lot of commission, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna take a second here and say, please use my links. Okay. Now, B&H only gives 1%. So I wouldn't get, but $10 or $12 into my bank account to use the B&H. And yes, thank you very much for that. Okay, so wherever you decide to use it. Now these are key things right here. I was going to say here's one, but I'm looking at them all, and they're all key. The S1R that I had my hands on. Oh my God, the camera was so heavy it was a deal breaker. The camera was too heavy to carry around, too heavy to deal with one hand. And now you add a lens on top of that, and it's like, no. You really have to be very, very dedicated to have that weight of a camera. And to show you how heavy it was, the new one is 25% lighter, which means it's 75% of the weight of the old camera. 25% less weight. So it is basically close to mimicking my S5 Mark II that I was just flashing in front of you. Now the other thing that it has is it has 8K. So in order to get to 8K, you've got to get into some bigger money in Nikon and bigger money in Canon. And who else has 8K? I think Fuji might have 8K in one of their cameras. Okay, so you're running some big dollars. And yet, this is the lowest price, and this is the entry price before they've even started to come down, which happens about a year after Panasonic releases a camera. This will start to slide down with sales. You'll see it a year from now on sale for $29.99. So you'll get that 8K, okay, and it's 8K and in at 30p. And in 4K, you can go up to 120p with no cropping. All right. And it is 10-bit. So they're giving you good stuff after good stuff after good stuff. So is this enough to bring a person into the Panasonic realm? I don't know. I think that people got their underwear in a wad by Panasonic doing what they did with their old focus system. Now, of course, Panasonic doesn't want me to be repeating that. All right. It's kind of like putting salt on an old wound, and you don't want to do that. However, I don't know how people are thinking. They might be remembering. So let me say something positive for Panasonic. Panasonic is known for coming out continuously with firmware updates. Okay, so you actually are not like in a Sony realm where you very rarely get a firmware update. Canon gives medium level firmware updates, nothing usually meaningful, but every once in a while they will pack a punch. Okay, and Panasonic just continuously rattles out firmware updates. All right, and now it also has a 6K where it uses the entire sensor. So if you look at the camera, here we got a picture of the camera here. Okay, so if you look at the camera here, this entire sensor, it gets cropped either along this way or up and down this way, depending on what mode you do. But when you go to the 6K, they call it open gate. Years ago, they used to call it photo mode because it would just dump everything that's on the sensor and dump it onto the card. And it records it at 6K open gate. You don't get that on the Canon camera. I don't even think you get that on Nikon, but I'm not sure. So if anybody knows, if you get open gate on Nikon, put it there and put there compared to the Panasonic, so I'll remember what we were talking about. All right. So here's some important features for this camera. Okay. And that is you get on pictures, you get up to 40 frames per second. 40 frames per second. 40 frames. Not 10 or 12. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, taking pictures. But it will shoot 40 frames per second of pictures in RAW. Hello? Does that mean anything to anybody? Woody, who takes pictures of birds? 40 frames per second of RAW shooting, and you still get continuous focus in operation. Okay? Now that's important because many times they will turn off, they'll shoot fast, some of the other cameras like Canon, but it will stop with your AFC or your AFS, okay, which is your single shot autofocus or your continuous autofocus. This camera keeps your autofocus engaged, and yeah, it's got a great autofocus, okay. So you've got phase hybrid autofocus, which is one of the things I was saying. It's got the full range of ISO 80 to 102,000. The lightweight design, which I talked about. The 6K recording of the entire sensor at one shot. Okay. Now it's not a stack sensor. It is not a global shutter. So that is not advanced there. But the camera does pretty well. All right, so the EVF LV is OLED, high quality. I have heard Randy over and over say you just can't trust the LCD. It's just not going to give you a good image or a good example of what you're doing. Well, the live viewfinder is an OLED viewfinder. So if it's something critical, you can look through there. It's got the 8-stop, 5-axis in-body image stabilization, or IBIS. Okay. And I happen to know, I don't know why it's not listed here, I happen to know that it does the dual image stabilization. So if it's on your lens and in the camera, you can turn them both on at the same time. And of course, it's got 2 card slots. So if you go down here, there's another feature I want to point out to you, because as a guy that I did my own CD album of Christmas songs. It becomes important to be able to use a certain type of audio, and you'd think they would. Yeah, here it is, right here. All right, so the 32-bit float audio, you've got to put the adapter on there on the hot shoe. You can record in 32-bit float, and that is a killer, excuse me, a killer, wonderful feature. Okay, I'm taking a little sip of water. Hold on. Now, just reading through the rest of this is 14 stops of dynamic range. So everything on this camera is top drawer, if you're an old timer like me. It is the cat's meow. It is what they say today, sick. It's a stupid word, I'm sorry. But that's what they say today. I won't use it because sick to me means sick, and I don't want to be sick. Okay, so we'll go back to the cat's meow. It's top drawer. It's the best of the best. All right, now you do get ProRes RAW in HQ, which is a high-end ProRes, and that will record internally. All right, now you can record externally to, what do they call that? An SD hard drive via the USB port. Or is it the HDMI port? One of the ports. You can record full regular RAW support directly to an external drive. It's got 4K, 120p slow motion, in full frame, okay, and we've been through these. All right, so I can't think of anything else to add here. I'm just kind of like improved color science, but we get it too on the S5 Mark II that I have. When they do upgrades, they give me the better color stuff. Here's something that's very nice. I haven't used this, but you can do high resolution, and it'll give you 177 megapixels. So what that does is I think it shoots 8 pictures rapidly. Okay, and the unique thing here is you don't have to be on a tripod, where on most cameras, I think Sony allows it handheld, but this camera allows it handheld also. So you're able to shoot. Let's say you need a really big file. I don't know why, but let's say you do. You can get 177 megapixels, not 44, not 24, but you can get 177 megapixels, okay, handheld, which gives you a knock you through the wall file, okay? So we have some really good stuff going on with this camera. And it's probably, I can label it a best bang for the buck camera. Honestly, I don't think you're going to get from Canon with their R6, not R6, R5 Mark II. You're not going to get better. Much higher price, so you could pay more, and you'll be in the Canon system for lenses. Okay. But for $32.99 coming out the door, which means from there on it slides down, okay? It starts with sales, so it'll be $32.99, and then maybe, what month are we in? So maybe for Independence Day or Memorial Day, it'll be on special sale for $29.99, and then it'll go back up to $32.99. So they're thinking on that is they'll put it on sale for those that are waiting. And then if you're the kind of guy that you've got ants in your pants and you just can't wait, you're going to pay the full price. They do the same stuff with dishwashers and washing machines and dryers and air conditioners and even cars. Okay? You hit them on sale, but then if you get in that in-between window, they sock it to you. And that's just part of the marketing routine. I would even market like that. You know, you want to buy my, my Better Bounce card? It's going to be on sale for this period of time. It does great. It's probably one of the best flash diffusers you could buy. And then when the sale is over, you're going to pay full price. And that guy that comes along and he's just whistling and da 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 da. My oh my, what a wonderful day! Plenty of sunshine coming my way. Zippity doo da, zippity day. Okay, so walking along, oh, I think I need one of these. So you go over and you buy it, and if you're not in that sales window, you're going to pay full price. And that's how they get a higher average sale price. Just part of marketing, guys. If you've been in marketing, so like someone like Norm that writes article after article after article, he will point out windows of better pricing. So why do you think they exist? It stimulates sales. Why do you think it goes away? Because the people that buy it in between the sales, like the Venus flytrap, they gotcha. Okay? So let's get back to the important people in here. We were up to, Randy was actually asking a question. That's unusual. Which camera is the actual colors that you are seeing? Okay, so what Randy is saying is I've got 4 or 5 cameras running. No, I got 4. There's 3 actually that are going to go through me. Which one is my shirt like this? Okay, so this is the Sony. This is the Nikon. Okay, so I would say on the shirt, the Nikon is closer. On the Sony, the face is closer. On the Canon, let's see. I would say the face is equal to or 1 step better than the other 3. And the reason I'm saying is 3 is I can't put my face on the one on the ceiling unless I bend over. Okay. However, all the rest of the colors that are around are, let's just call it different. Okay. So if you're interested in face, this is the one that's doing the best right now. However, how about if we go to pleasing? Which one, I'll shoot it back at you guys. Which one is giving you the most pleasing picture? Because pleasing is far more important than accuracy. And the reason I say that is when I take pictures, I'm shooting in RAW, meaning I'm controlling all these ding-dong colors. And if I'm shooting a video, it all depends on what the final purpose of the video as to how I want it to be color graded. If it's going to be broadcast, I want colors that are a little more subdued. If it's going to be on YouTube, the colors here, this is the same as the FX3 and the A7S Mark III. And this camera have the same identical sensors. This one has the most advanced processing power because it's the newest one. So for half the price, I've got the biggest punch that Sony can put out. So to go along with Randy's question, which camera would I buy? Okay, I would probably buy this guy because it just gives me the best all the way around. The only thing that would actually compete with this, and I'm including myself in my sphere of influence. I'm on YouTube. I take pictures. Okay, I make private videos. I would sell portrait work, wedding work. Okay, I would sell video work. So which camera is the most versatile? Oops, sorry. Which camera is the most versatile and which camera is giving me the best of the best? It would be the ZV-E1. However, if you took that balance that I'm living in and you moved it one way or the other, like if you moved it much more, okay, if you moved it much more towards video, okay, then I would definitely say this is the top contender. This is the best all-around contender, but it's also the top contender. Now, if I move it over to still pictures, I can still shoot with this camera. It'll still give me fantastic results. I only lose the ability to do heavy crops. And what I say is like 200, 300, 400% crop. In that case, I go and I reach for the A7C Mark II, which tickles Randy's Giska. He likes that, okay? Because this is 33 megapixels, all right? And after that, it's a toss-up between the S5 Mark II and what we're going to come up to, I'll just switch it there right now, the Nikon Z6 Mark III. Okay, so if I was more heavy into pictures, it would be one of these cameras, and I would tilt a little bit away from Eleanor, which is the ZV-E1. Okay, you got that? Or did I confuse you out of your brain? Okay, hopefully not. All right, so let's continue on down here because I like talking to you guys. Hi, friends. This is Mookie. Hi, Mook. Love you, buddy. Santa may come early for me. With the announced monster adapter that will let me use my older D-Drive Nikon lenses on my Z-mount camera. Good for you, Mook. Keep me in the loop. I'd like to know what's going on. So Jim Monday is saying Happy Friday. So you see how I made that mistake? It wasn't weird. I'm seeing Monday and Friday, and I kind of like mine just anyway. So happy Friday, Peter and all, and happy last day of the month. And here is Bokeh Bashudo, who is Carlos. Okay, out of curiosity, all right, Carlos is one of those really special cases where he just shot like a rocket to the moon. So let's go. No, don't do that. I have to come over here, move this out of the way. We don't want that crap happening. I need to go to my desktop without a bubble. Okay. Now, I want to come here. And what I want to do is I want to come to, see up here where it says subscriptions. Okay, so this is you guys. Okay. So this is what happened today. Ordinary Filmmakers got a video coming out with the R1 Wildlife Pro. You don't need more than 24 megapixels. That's his opinion. Maybe it's not mine. Okay. Maybe it is. I'm just saying, whenever you look at YouTube videos, remember, you're looking at opinions of the person, of the creator. It's the creative part coming out of you, which we'll get to in a second. Okay. Then the next two videos that were put out were by Randy, and this one is the Leica SL2S, and he's versing it the D610. And then Randy's got another video here, and that is the Z8 with the 28-400. What a lens. Okay. And then again, two by Randy. So Randy's got the most. 1, 2, 3, 4 videos out to everybody else's 1. And we're going to come into Bokeh Bashudo in a second. Okay. But this is Mark, MDM. Okay. And he is chugging along, our handsome young man. And he is doing a short. Okay. I don't know who this is. So this is, now I wish they would put the name of the people on the shorts, what the name of the channel is. So I recognize Mark. I recognize Lewis, Mr. Camera Junkie right here. I recognize Mark here. Somebody's buried in snow, and I don't know who it is. So who do I know that's buried in snow? Hashtag cinematography. It's not the fault of the person. Okay. It's the fault of YouTube by not putting the name there. Okay. Now, I know Randy's not buried in snow. And here's Tom Buck. He put one up one day ago. And he's talking about the yellow box. Okay. We love Tom Buck too. Now, over here is Bokeh Bashudo. Now, he was at 4,000 and a handful. And that was last Friday of subscribers. Now it's 4,780, almost 4,800. So he has actually gained a solid 700 subscribers. So if we thought it was a fluke that he shot up, he's still shooting up. Okay. And if you click here on the word videos, you will see in chronological order what's his latest video, which is this one right here. Okay.
For instance, a writer may think they're just crafting fiction, but their reoccurring themes of loss and hope and rebellion may reveal unresolved conflicts or even deep-seated beliefs. Or a filmmaker, they might unknowingly return to the same symbols over and over again, revealing patterns in their emotions and their fears or their desires. The stories that you tell, the visuals that you chase, the words that you weave.
Okay, so this is Carlos, Bokeh Bashuda, and now we are watching a real-world live success story where he had 10 to 15 subscribers, 10 to 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and he's got 4,708, or 780, I'm sorry. So we are watching him skyrocket, and he probably will not be speaking to me because they become really big, and then they drop me. Now, I do notice this is a little bit dark. I don't know why. Let's go to another part. Now, he's not normally this dark, so let's just back it up one. And let's go to, let's just go back 12 days, okay? Let's take a look at this one. So this one is, okay, see how it's a little bit brighter? That's all I noticed. This is not a pick on anybody moment. Okay. So I could tell when he's in the studio, when he's at home, because I know the layouts of the places. And see, it's just a little bit brighter here, and you could see his face pretty good. So you guys that are more technical, you would be paying attention to this, because everybody that's watching this is not rating him on how bright his face is. That's just something I'm doing. They're going to rate him based on the content he's putting out. All right? So this is the great fear of publishing. This is what this guy is, Susan Day. Oh, she's from the Partridge Family. Susan Day. David Cassidy, remember? Then we got Matt Berg. He invented the hamburgers. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for such practical, gracious, and potent input. Simply Sashia is great. Another fantastic one, Carlos. So he is actually connecting. This is a key thing, is to connect in a good way with your audience. So that becomes a very important thing. So let's come back to the Christmas room where Peter is sitting. Okay. And I should mention air conditioners on, fans are, all three fans are on. So you have to determine how the background is being compressed well or not. So this was Jim saying happy Friday, the last day of the year. Carlos saying bye. What's up, everybody? Wait, Randy was saying something. He was talking to Mookie. I've been hearing about that for a year. Bluebird, I think that a lot of people who say Sony is the best or Canon is the best may just be reinforcing the decision they've made. That's a whole philosophical point of view. Okay. I don't use any other cameras enough to tell you that they're better, and that's pretty smart. Okay. 44 megapixels is the S1R Mark II, and that's what I was asking. My buddy Lewis in Canada is saying hi. Bokeh Bashudo, love hearing you talk deep camera tech. Thank you. Randy says yes. Sam, give Peter a like, please. Okay, I'll go with that. I bet you I didn't even give myself a like. So you know how you do a thumbs up? Click the thumbs up, and it tells, it doesn't do anything for right now, but when this goes on rewind, they'll see the activity was there, and they're likely to recommend the video. Okay, so Mark, hey Peter, does Panasonic let third-party companies make their lenses? I cannot remember. The answer is clearly yes, or a very big yes. Third-party lenses are available. So just right now off the top of my head, you've got Viltrox, you've got Sigma, you've got Leica if you've got the money, and you've got the Panasonic lenses. And there might be more, like TT Artisans, that I'm not aware of. Okay. So Randy is answering Mark, basically what I just said. Randy is answering Mark. Again, what I just said. I'm just speeding it up because we're going to go off now. It's been an hour. Mr. Camera Junkie is saying hi to everybody. Mark is saying thank you to Randy. Okay. Okay, Peter, the S1 and the S sucks the air from underneath the logo and blows out on the sides. I think it's the reverse, to be honest with you. I think it sucks it in on the side. I know on this side, does it have one? No, it doesn't have it on this side. So it just has the intake on this side and the heat comes out here. I don't think it sucks up here. I think it blows out there. But I'll put the fan on, not on the show, because I don't want to go changing the settings. But it is one way or the other. It doesn't matter. Sam says A1 Mark II, and the A7R5 have 8K. I might be getting the R5, the A7R5 in here as a loaner. It might actually be coming from Randy. So Randy is talking to Mark, MDM. Okay. Sam says, I wish I had a stack sensor. The electronic shutter is going to struggle with moving objects. Bouquet Carlos says, I think the camera has enough to make me a panty fanboy. Well, it basically, Carlos, it's got everything but the kitchen sink in it. So they didn't become Canon cheapwads. Did you want it? It's in there. And then they lowered the price to $3,200. So it is the best bang for the buck. And with it being lighter, it's so much easier to deal with. If it was the same weight as the S1R Mark I, the original, I would clearly say to you, go pick one up before you buy it. The weight is that much of an important factor. I'm not just like picking an item to talk about and be like the other YouTubers. I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to make it sound every which way but loose. No, it's a heavy camera. Okay? And when I say it's a heavy camera, that baby is heavy. So that was Sly. Hi, Peter and gang. I did get to speak with Sly. Okay? She sounds like she's feeling a lot better, but her weakness comes down quickly. So whether she comes on Tuesday or not, we'll have to turn on the betting machine and see. And if she doesn't, her health is much more important than the 20 people that are going to watch her live and the 100 people that are going to watch her after. Okay, she needs to just get better. That's the thing. But I'm so glad to see Sly here. Love to you, Sly. I hope you're feeling much better. The new Panasonic S1R has 6K video besides 8K. Yes, it does, because it has 6K video in the, what do you call that? They call it open gate, but the full sensor, and 8K is on the crop. Okay, so Carlos is saying, Sly, miss you big time. That's cool. We all miss Sly so much. We love her. Randy says they do 4K 120, then 8K 60. The new SR1, it's the S1R, by the way, because it's the S1R for high resolution, the S1H, which at that time, before they started with the Mark IIs, was for video, and the S1, which was general. So you have the S1, the S1R, S1H, and the S5 Mark II. So that is the numbers. Okay, so Randy is saying hi to Sly. And Mookie is Nikon cameras do not offer open gate. Okay, but do full frame sensor readout instead on many of the Z cameras. So Randy is answering Mookie. Randy said, did you discuss the 32-bit sound? I finally did. That was like probably not too much before you typed it. Okay, so I did. Don't forget we're on a latency thing here. And so I'll just repeat it. The important thing on 32-bit sound is that it does not distort. And that is very important. Because if I get real close and I go into the red, this could be distorting right now. But if I back off, it should be fine because now we're all in the yellows. If it was 32-bit float, it won't allow it to distort. The same exact thing that I did right now. That's the miracle of 32-bit float. So when you see 32-bit float as a choice, gun it. Go there. Okay? So Carlos says he did, Randy. And Randy is thanking Carlos. Mark is saying I may have to give up my Canon R5 for this one. Take your time. Camera's not out yet. Give it a little time to float around. If you do buy it and you can remember to click my link, thank you. You get a hug and a kiss. Kiss on the cheek. Don't get fresh. Okay. Randy says, remember to give this a like when watching and showing members video channels. Oh, Peter, he's talking to me. Yeah, I should be giving likes. I'll do that as soon as we go off. I'll just go back and bam, 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 bam. So you want to see what I'm going to do? Let's go to the desktop. Okay, now I'm in the corner. Now, if I come over here, okay, I apparently have already liked this one. So let's go to subscriptions. I can't give it a like from here. So if I open up a video, I can give it a like. So if I open up one of Randy's videos, whenever it starts, okay, I can give this a like. Okay, so he's got one view, so this like will be important. So that's a good thing for there. Let's check Randy's other video, and let's give him a like there. So this is how we help each other, guys. Remember that. We're here as a family. You just didn't come here to take. Okay, now, I'm not picking on you, but we are here to support each other. Now this one's got 31 views, and I bet it's because of these legs. Okay, but we'll give it a like anyway. And you notice how it's got 31 views down here. We're at 27 here. It's probably not as updated as over here because it says 31. All right, people just don't give it the thumbs up that they should. And we really need to be supporting each other. Now this one got 3 likes. Okay, and then I'll come back over here. And then I'll come back into my Ecamm. Ecamm is the software you should be using. I have a link to that. And when you do order it, cha-ching, I get a commission. Don't be ashamed to give people commissions. People do a lot of work putting out videos. And when they get $2, $3, $5, $10, $20, it's a very big pat on the back. So if you have a mindset like, oh, he just wants money, anybody that's doing videos, it's very rare. Randy would be the rare one. He just loves putting out videos. He doesn't use affiliate links. Actually, he won't even link. If he's talking about the Nikon camera, he won't even link. You got to go find it on your own, which I think he needs to correct that, okay? Because if he's talking about a camera, I should easily be able to go find it, okay? So if he doesn't become an affiliate, that's his choice. And if he does, that's his choice. And we don't take choices away from people. Okay. So I just did what Randy just said to do. And Lewis said, I'm not buying anything. Well, your iPhone is good. And Randy's saying, good choice. I'm trying to figure out how to be happy with what I have. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. Don't go for that other guy's point of view. Get an ugly girl to marry you. That's not the words. I changed them. The real words to that song, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, get a pretty girl to be your wife. Take my personal point of view. Get a pretty girl to marry you. That's the real words, okay? So, sorry about that. I changed it. Okay, Lewis, me and Randy are friends. I try and comment on as many videos as I can, but he is way ahead. I want a hug and a kiss. Oh, I'll give you a hug and a kiss on both cheeks. You are one special person. Fist pump. Fist pump. Oh, fist bump. Bump is enough for me. Yeah, I do a lot of fist bumps, and then I'll grab the person and hug them. And when I shock them, ooh, 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 you shake the guy up. Hey, love. There's got to be a song with the word love in it, right? Probably 5 billion. So here's my buddy Alex. Now, Alex is another guy I can give a big hug to. I just called him last night, and we got his thing straightened out. He needed to go to movie mode and automatic P mode. And you know the one thing we didn't change, Alex? You need to go to auto white balance too. I forgot to tell you that. And it did look a little bit washed out. But maybe you like it better with where you got it set. And that's fine. Remember, this is all up to doing what I like for my show and you doing what you like for your show. So Lewis wants a hug, a kiss, and a fist bump. Alex, did you stay in bed all day? No, he's got a job. He's up and at 'em with the madam. Though I'm live in 5 minutes. And he goes to school, same school where Sammy goes. Okay, and, that is Alex. I'm talking about Alex. So Randy says, Alex, my cat sleeps on me. Same here. We will see if she joins me tonight. And we have gone, and I made it. I didn't think I was going to make it through tonight, honestly, because I got to talking so much about the S1R Mark II that I thought, like, okay, I'm only going to get halfway through the comments. But we made it all the way through the comments, and I'm so glad. So this is the last day of the month. And guess what? Randy, you win the bet. I did not talk about politics. I didn't talk about that magnificent, fantastic spanking that Trump gave to the president of Ukraine, who acted like a spoiled brat that came to the White House just wanting another check. Do you know that guy is actually legally a billionaire now? Okay, where do you think he got that money? The $350 billion we sent them. So if you haven't heard, the guy came to the White House, sat in the White House, didn't wear a suit, looked like he was about to do a TikTok show, came for money, came to try to persuade Trump to up the ante in the war, send troops, send, what do they call that? Hardware. And Trump says, no, we are going into diplomacy. We want to end the war. There are young men on both sides dying. This is not a joke. This is not a time to talk and position ourselves for chess. And then the guy reacted poorly, the president of Ukraine. And Trump dressed him down in no uncertain terms. And the vice president, J.D. Vance, he got my vote for 2028. Because he turned to him, he said, don't you know how to say thank you? Don't you know to say thank you for what we're doing to help you? And the guy just crossed his arms and acted like a little boy. And in the end results, Trump canceled the conference, canceled the dinner, and left town to go to Palm Beach. And then 3 hours later, under direction, I guess, Marco Rubio cut out all the aid that we are providing to provide all their military with electrical power. So all the electrical power of their grid is no longer being supported by us. Okay? And the point here is to stop the killing of young men. You send your kid off to war and they come back dead because these guys want to play games. That just ain't right. This is not political. Okay? I'm talking about young men, and they're actually taking younger men up to down to 12, 13 years old, putting them on the battlefield in the Ukraine, and you could lose your child. Okay? This is not a political statement that I'm making. The good thing is Trump said arms is not what we're discussing. We're discussing diplomacy to see how we can stop this. Still not on politics. Okay? And that's what we're going to talk about. And the president of Ukraine crossed his arms like a little boy and pouted. And J.D. Vance says, don't you know how to say thank you for what the United States is doing? Okay. And 4 or 5 members of the cabinet were sitting there. Okay. They didn't say a word. Trump got very aggressive. Okay. Now we'll go into politics. So the liberal side is going like, well, Trump wasn't very presidential. He wasn't this or that. I think that, when you're in that kind of a position as being president, doesn't matter if you're Biden or Trump, you're not shooting from the hip. There's like playing a game of chess. You're ahead 2 or 3 moves. So to me, my own opinion, it looks like whatever his name is, Trump is not going to support him anymore. He's going to be out. Trump wants to stop the bullets from firing. He doesn't want to put NATO there. He's not looking to provoke a war. He's not looking to put U.S. troops on the ground and provoke Russia into bringing more troops. He's looking, okay, let's do diplomacy. Okay, it is what it is. We're going to start from today. We want the killing, the killing, the killing. If you see any newscaster get off of the killing, they're son of a bitches. Okay? Because we're talking about young people dying. And this is critical in any war. War is about people dying. Diplomacy is about positioning. Okay? And I'll do this and you do that and I'll be boisterous and you'll be louder than me and I'll be louder than you. That's diplomacy, but there's no bullets. Now, when we send young boys out and they're killing each other on both sides, at some point you have to address that. It becomes important. And I do not buy into the theory that there's a certain amount of acceptable casualties when you're in war. Stop the war. Stop the aggressors. Okay? Do what it takes. That's what it looked like was going on today. Now, it's big news. No matter where you go, you're going to hear 2 opinions from everybody. And I talked with Randy about that, and Randy said, don't talk about politics tonight, Peter. Okay? And I said, okay, I won't. And I didn't. All right? Until the very end. So the show is over. It's after 11. And I get to say what I want. The show is over, folks. Goodbye. Go away. Okay? Now I get to say what I want. It might surprise you. But that guy over there is a dictator. I'm in the Greek Orthodox Church. Well, he made it illegal to be in the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, which is the same church. He made it illegal. He made it illegal he outlawed, I should say, to have elections. He outlawed all the freedoms of the country. It's called a dictator. And he comes under the guise of it's a war. But pay me. I'm a billionaire now. So he comes in and waltzes into the White House like, I'm a billionaire. Kiss my ass. Okay? And Trump said, no. We hold the cards. You don't hold any cards. That's what he told him. You need to watch the video for yourself and not look at all the interpretations. Because when that president started to say this and this and this and that, and Trump said, no, you are not going to get anywhere without us. We hold the cards. You don't hold any extra cards. Okay? You don't hold any cards at all. As a matter of fact, okay, if we pull out aid completely, you're going to tumble. So it looks like the beginning of the end of the war is what it looks like. It looks like either that guy is either going to bow and kiss ass to Trump, or he's going to resign, or his own people are going to get him out. But I think the people that have people dying on a daily basis are tired of having the people come to their door and say, your loved one got killed. Just stop it. Wherever the borders are right now, stop. Okay? We would have to promise not to put U.S. troops there, and that's rightly so. I think it would irritate Russia to hell if we put U.S. troops right on their border, and NATO is not going to go there. And if Russia, by any chance, breaks the promise, all bets are off. You could say, hello, World War III. Okay? But biblically speaking, I don't believe that's where World War III is going to start. Okay? I think Turkey, Iran, and that area with Israel is where World War III is going to get ignited. And the country to watch is, biblically speaking, not my opinion. My opinion on the Bible, okay, is watch Turkey. Turkey is going to turn on us, and they are going to be the igniter of World War III. And that's probably where the Antichrist is going to come from also. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you for being here. Randy has given us his blessing. Good night, everybody. See you in a week. It'll be in March, God willing, and the bridges and up. Lewis is saying, I love you. I got the burpees. And Scotty, get off the rules. We're going to end it when it ends. And guess what? Scott, where was the food, dude? Too late. Put it back in the refrigerator. Bring it next week. All right. I love you guys. Have a good one. We will end as usual on Randy. Love everybody and be blessed. Be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. We are blessed. All right. Later, Gator. Bye.